It's a brand new month and also the first Saturday of the month of November in the year 2025. Good afternoon. Welcome to Weekend Central. This bulletin, of course, is coming to you live from the news hub here at the Tricycle. We're live on Facebook as TV3 Ghana, on DSTV as Channel 279. My name is George Kwaning. Top of the stories is out. Former Auditor General Daniel Yadomolevo calls for stronger deterrent measures to deal with persons who engage in stealing state funds. And Ghana Exim Bank CEO Sylvester Mensah urges investment in Volta agro-industry clusters to reduce post-harvest losses. Well, we have details of these stories and many more coming up in the next 60 minutes. If you spend your time with me, also, you can get interactive with us. We are live on Facebook as TV3 Ghana. Let's begin from agriculture. Rice farmers in the northern parts of the country are raising concerns about low market prices for their produce and inadequate support from government affecting both production and processing of their product. And the farmers feel government initiatives, while intended to help, do not fully address the challenges they face. And my colleague, Christopher Mwako, has more in this report.
Rice is a critical staple and a crucial part of the agricultural economy in many nations. Many governments often implement policies to boost domestic production to meet demand and improve food security by sometimes imposing import bans. Rice contributes to about 15% of Ghana's gross domestic product, GDP, with annual rice consumption in Ghana being approximately 1.5 million metric tons or around 47 kilograms per person. The top 5 main producing regions in Ghana are Northern, Volta, Upper East, Oti, and Ashanti. The rice value chain, made up of input dealers, smallholder farmers, logisticians, processors, and distributors, employs more than 500,000 people. Despite its importance, local rice production in Ghana faces challenges, especially access to markets and distribution channels, with thousands of metric tons of rice remaining unsold each year. Farmers lament the situation has led to rice glut in many parts of the country. There is no market for the rice this year. I have several bags of the rice at home, yet no one is even asking to buy a bag. This year, the situation is too bad. I have over 50 acres of rice, and in a week's time, I will start harvesting. Meanwhile, the 2024 rice I harvested is still in my warehouse. Government must do something.
Thousands of paddy rice bagged in this warehouse that are yet to be processed. But since February this year, most companies are yet to mill even a grain of rice because the already milled rice is not selling. On September 8th, the Association of Rice Producers and Processors in Ghana petitioned government to look into the surplus rice that they have.
We came together as a body and wrote a petition to the president asking, we are not even asking too much. What we are saying is that they have to involve the national security to be able to work closely with the GRA, the Ghana, the Customs Service, so that they'll be able to close down the borders to not allow those bringing the rice through those areas without paying tax. They should work on that. And also, we are asking the government to direct buffer stock and also direct all the Ghana armed forces that they should rather consume the local rice instead of spending the taxpayers' money on the imported rice.
The Ministry of Food and Agriculture on September 23 issued a statement directing the National Buffer Stock company to purchase surplus grains from farmers. The initiative, according to the ministry, is to protect farmers from financial losses over the bumper harvest they've had. But the question farmers are asking is that will this solve the problem?
No, this is just a temporary problem for last year's farmers, produce that the farmers are holding. What of this year's party? And also, I want to find out from the government if they are is buffer store having a rice mill that they are buying to process? So they should have come to the millers, buy from the processors the mill rice that we are having. They should have directed the buffer stock to buy those ones, then to give us the capacity or the amount, the money to be able to buy from the farmers. But if you are buying the grain from the farmers, do you have any processing machine that you are coming to process it? And that will not even alleviate the problem.
But how can government deal with the rice glut in the country?
What government must do immediately is to put up policies that all government expenditure on rice should be based on local rice, not foreign rice. If that one is even able to do it, I think it will help us. And also, if the government is able to involve national security to work with Ghana Customs Service, they will be able to stop those bringing the rice from unapproved routes.
The Rice Producers and Processors Association of Ghana has threatened to embark on a massive demonstration on October 8th if government fails to address their concerns. Christopher Mwako, TV3 News, Nasia, Northeast Region.
Just so you know, my colleague Christopher Marco was in Nasia to engage with rice farmers, and this story was first aired on 28 September this year on News 360. Now let's engage Dr. Charles Nyaba, who is a farmer himself and a spokesperson for the rice producers, rice millers, and maize farmers of Ghana, and is also the immediate past executive director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. Doc, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. What amount of paddy rice are we looking at, and the milled rice as well?
Good afternoon, and let me say good afternoon to the listeners.
Yeah.
And your Northeast reporter, I think he did a good job with the report that he put out there. So when this issue started, when we started harvesting this year, I took the pain to just go around some few stores of the farmers and then some few mills, and just Upper East, Northeast, and then the Northern region alone. The places that I went, we have over 200,000 metric tons of the paddy rice that is still stocked. Now, within the same period, those who started harvesting for this year, you take Upper East, we got around 300,000 metric tons that has already been harvested. Northeast, 200,000 metric tons. Northern region, 300,000 metric tons. Volta, we got 50,000 metric tons. Upper West, we got 20,000 metric tons. That is just coming right now. All this is still unsold. For the mills that we went, we have a Nasia rice, which is owned by Tamale. We have the Don, another miller in Tamale. We have Avinas. These are the big millers, I'm telling you, not the numerous, the small ones. We had 50,000 metric tons of mill rice. And these are the people who provide ready markets for the farmers. So we confronted them. I deal with them on a daily basis because I am on the producer side and they are at the buyer side. When I went there, all their warehouses were full with what has been milled and then the paddy that they've already bought. So they said there's nothing they can do. They can't come to buy from us. When they buy and even mill, where will they keep it? They don't even have place to do the storage. So this year, all the places, all the farms that I went, the same story. My own rice I harvested 3 weeks ago. I have to carry it, go and dry it, bag it, and send it and store it because nobody's interested. We have the capacity to cater for combined harvesters. But most of the smallholder farmers cannot even pay for the services of combined harvester. Previously, we used to do a butter trade. If you harvest 1 acre, I give you 1 bag of the 180 kg bag of rice. This year, they said they are not taking it because When they also take it, they don't have a place to sell it. So most rice is actually going to remain on the farms on harvest because of these problems. And we think that it's simple. Why would a farmer suffer? Most of us did without any government support. And it got to only harvesting. And government has money from the taxpayer, which is supposed to give to National Food Buffer Stock to come and mop these grains. And they now decide to use the money to rather buy imported rice. It's not just fair to Ghanaian. So that's where our concerns are.
Look, I know somewhere this year the buffer stock spent some 100 million cedis to mop up excess farm produce and is seeking additional money to actually undertake another purchase, not only rice, but maize and other products. How are you as a farmer, how are you taking advantage of this very opportunity?
So, my brother, that is where the problem is. I have been engaging National Food Buffer Stock. When they started, we engaged them. We did all the things together. So, to be very honest with you, my farmers and the communities that I operate, we're still waiting for the National Food Buffer Stock company to come and buy. Only for us to get there, and they told us they've already engaged produce buying companies to go and buy. Yet there is no single community where we operate who can confirm that they saw these produce buying companies come there to buy. So which means the story we've been telling you, that they take the money instead of coming to buy from farmers or to buy the meal rice or maize, they'll rather buy the imported ones. And we all know the consequences that comes with the imported ones. Most of them are expired from Vietnam and Thailand. They keep them for more than 10 years because they can't sell them and they are not healthy for human consumption. Our people go and buy, pass through the unapproved food, bring them to the country, rebag them and put them in the market. And because these are not healthy rice, they can afford to actually bring the price down lower than the local rice. And you know, Ghanaians prefer cheap things because they don't really know the health implication of that. So when you talk to people, say, oh, the local rice is expensive. But we are talking about healthy rice versus expired rice. But on the part of the government, what they should have known is that this rice that we are buying from foreign countries, we are creating jobs for those people. There are a lot of farmers who say next year they won't do rice again because it doesn't make sense. You go and put your resources, you produce, you put your energy, then it comes to only purchasing, then you allow it to go wasted. So we think that our policymakers, especially the president, need to actually sit up if you want this country to be self-sustainable in most of the commodities we are talking about.
Doc, so let's still stay with the buffer stock because the review committee set a price of 5 cedis per kilo for paddy rice, below which aggregators cannot buy. Is that price enough to actually, for farmers to break even?
You know, we don't even have a problem with the price because as it stands now, it's about the survivor. People are coming to the field, others are buying 3 cedis 50 pesos. Others are buying 3 cedis. And even with that, farmers are still chasing, they just want to give away. So if government is giving 5 cedis, even though it's far below our expectations, but we have no problem with that. We'll give it out. But even with that 5 cedis, they are not buying from us. That's the problem. And we think that since government have taken out fertilizer subsidy program, seed subsidy program, they could have actually safeguarded that money to the marketing bill. And that's what I have been campaigning all around. I said, look, if this country wants to be self-sustainable, especially on the grains, and we don't need to import, let's focus on the marketing. I can give a number of other commodities where other institutions focus on only the market, and now they are getting more. Typical example is Guinness Ghana. About 5 years ago, Guinness Ghana used to import barley from Argentina and other places to brew. We went in, we sat with them, we did a negotiation. And they also went to government, and government agreed to give them some tax holidays.
Doc, so
my brother, today we are supplying 100% of raw material to Guinness Ghana. So we think that if government adopt the same approach by looking at only the marketing component, we will be able to produce all what we need in this country, and there's no need to import.
Doc, so before you take leave of us, what would the government do, which is encouraging more people to go into under its Feed Ghana program, do to ensure that this matter does not reoccur moving forward?
So one of the proposals that we are giving to government is that please let the security people tighten the illegal borders so that people will not dodge taxes and bring in expired goods that will come and then overshadow the healthy goods that we are producing. I'm not talking of only rice. Chicken parts is another area. 2, if national food buffer stock is giving contract to people, they should let those people tell them the community they are buying this commodity from. And it should be mandatory for school feeding program to buy 100% locally produced commodity. We have the capacity. What are they using to feed our children? Is it not rice, maize for banku, teaser, and those and beans, groundnut for soup? So that is the second one that we want the government to look at it. Once we are approaching Christmas festivities, we want government to place a ban on importation of rice because we consume a lot of rice and our rice is stocked in our warehouses.
Sure.
Once you give 6 months ban on importation, we'll be able to sell the stock in our warehouses. Now, in going forward, they can now do analysis to see our production capacity. You only give contracts for people to import to cater for the gap. In this case, over time, once we are investing in the marketing bit, over time, 2-3 years time, I'm telling you, this country, we will be able to produce enough and we can even export to our neighboring countries.
Sure. Thank you so much, Doc. Dr. Charles Naba is a farmer himself and also the immediate past executive director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. If you just tune in, you're watching Weekend Central, the first Saturday of the month of November's edition and also the very first weekend of the same month. In other news, tricycles, popularly known as pragya or keke, have become a lifeline for many commuters in Ghana, especially in areas where public transport options are limited. But behind the convenience lies a growing debate about safety, regulation, and road use. My colleague Aseda Botwe explores the realities faced by tricycle riders navigating Ghana's busy streets.
Like every other day, commuters are rushing to beat the early morning gridlock. Here at the Abokobi Lorry Station, tricycles popularly known as pragyas are in high demand, as many commuters prefer them for their speed and affordability. Unlike regular vehicles, tricycles offer a quicker and cheaper alternative for most commuters, making them the preferred choice for short distance travel. But as demand grows, so do the dangers associated with their operations. From reckless riding and lack of proper licenses to underage riders, the risks continue to rise. Meet CJ, a 28-year-old senior high school graduate. He has been in the tricycle business for the past 10 years. According to him, he makes between 200 and 300 cedis in profit daily. However, he says the business is not without challenges, citing frequent attacks by armed robbers and the poor state of roads as major concerns.
We face a lot. Yeah, bad people are around. They will monitor you. They will take your bike from you. They can even stab you. Last year, we encountered 3 deaths from this same thing. They will just kill you and take your motor and they will just dash off.
Other riders shared similar sentiments.
The moment we buy the motor, we have the helmet, but most of them keep it in the house. They don't use it. When the police are, chasing us because, and using the helmets is our beneficiary because sometimes you get the accident, maybe you will have a head cut. So maybe we are using the helmet to prevent you to get such injury.
The road is not good for us there. If we have something to do with the road there, it will be fine.
Beyond the safety issues, there are also legal concerns about the commercial use of tricycles, which by law remains prohibited. The executive director of the National Road Safety Authority says tricycles, just like okadas, are currently banned from engaging in commercial transport activities.
They are not supposed to engage in any high and pay operations. They are not supposed to be high and pay for commercial or anything. So it hasn't been approved. As for the engagement, it's constant. I think last year also we met with close to 200 motorcycles in a town hall discussion trying to sensitize them on safety. Apart from that, the law on the operations I know is being repealed. And so very soon they would be formally regulated. But aside that, we are in constant engagement with their leaders.
She added that a bill is currently before Parliament seeking to regularize the operations of both tricycles and motorcycles for commercial use.
It's in Parliament. and the committee to review the document, I know will meet this week. And so we are hoping that in the next few days or even weeks, it can be looked at and then the necessary processes will follow.
Until that law is passed, she warns that enforcement will be tightened to ensure safety and compliance on the roads.
And now my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar joins us from the Ashanti region on this very issue. Ibrahim, I know it's actually very common when it comes to the Ashanti region. And tell us, how are people in the area taking this very transport system?
Yeah, so like you rightly mentioned, the influx of these tricycle cycles has not only made mode of transport very easy and affordable, but offered a lot of employment to both the young and the old. So it is something that people are patronizing a lot. However, there are increasing indiscipline, concerns about indiscipline on the road by some of these riders. And when you move to other areas, they are causing a lot of congestion. If we remember, they have been banned to move within the central business district because of congestion and other things. But today at Kafo, the municipal assembly is also taking another restriction directive within the area. They are saying that to be able to sanitize the road and reduce congestion around Kafo Malfo, they have resolved to restrict the movement of these tricycle and taxis within that area. So they will have to use another alternative. For the leadership, they have admitted to the growing indiscipline among some of their members, but they are saying that this kind of restriction is likely going to push them out of business. We do know that government intends to regulate their activities, and they want this thing to be done faster because they believe that if the regulation is done and done properly, it will create employment and also make sure that most of their members are disciplined on our road. So this morning, they gathered in their numbers, they moved straight to the Tapo Municipal Assembly, presented a petition to the MC and also other members of MUSEC to rescind their decision and find a new alternative so that they will be able to do their job and get some form of income whilst also trying to make sure that they bring discipline or sanity on our roads. Let's listen to what their leadership, Saidu Mubarak, has been telling us when they presented the petition to the Tapo Municipal Assembly.
Restricting tricycle from not passing through mile 4. And mile 4 happens to be where tricycle operations are needed most. And that is where passengers are always there to patronize us. And we cannot afford to lose that. Either we meet each other halfway, and the problem they are bringing, or what they stand on grounds to restrict tricycle, is congestion. And what we asking is that in our petition, if only indeed the assembly is in the interest of the people, then they should find us a parking space where tricycles can load there and then be doing their business as usual. But in the case where you restrict us and tell us to go back, where do we get the passengers to pick? They have restricted us from accessing the central business district of Kumasi. All the operators are now working here. And if you say we shouldn't go to a certain area where our services is needed most, that means we are equally collapsing our business. And it is something we cannot accept. And I urge the municipal chief executive to look at what his president is assuring tricycle operators and work towards that. Let's find a solution to regulate the tricycles, but not chase them out.
Well, Ibrahim, I don't know how immediate they want their concerns to be addressed, but I want to believe that the protests have been peaceful so far.
Well, so far very, very peaceful. As I speak to you, they've even ended it and have moved to their various destinations. The directive has not started working. The implementation has not been done. This is a proposed directive, and they are just showing their concern and presenting the people so that something can be done about it. In fact, they've been given alternative routes, but listening to what he was saying, he said that those alternative routes are places that they will hardly even get passenger. This is a main route from Tafo to Mampon, and the stations, lorry terminals are just by the roadside. So they believe that these are places that their services are much needed, and they will be able to get more passengers to also earn something. But then when they presented the petition, the authorities dismissed claims that the new measure is intended to push the youth out of business. They said that this is to regulate the activities in a way and make sure they sanitize the system. But then they will also take into consideration what it contains in their petition and know how to implement these things so that it will be a win-win situation for all.
Well, thanks so much, Ibrahim Abubakar. He is our Ashanti Regional correspondent. And so if you're watching, if you ever had any experience using a keke or a tricycle, just let us know what you make of it and the new directive that has been issued. So we're active on Facebook as TV3 Ghana. Hopefully, we'll read them and share them to the rest of the world. And now, a former Auditor General, Daniel Yadumelovo, has bemoaned the deterrent measures in the country for persons who engage in stealing state funds or financial malfeasance in state enterprises. Daniel Yadumelovo, who was a member of the preparatory team for Operation Recover or Loot Oral, explained that there are not strict deterrence measures which the police has caused persons to continue to perpetuate the corrupt act of embezzling state funds. Take a listen.
I cannot agree more with that position. I think there is not sufficient deterrence to stop or prevent people from abusing public funds. One of your panelists actually made a passionate appeal or position on people stealing gold, which is about 1,000 Ghana cedis or maybe maximum 1,005 Ghana cedis. They are expeditiously tried and jailed. In fact, if we gather the statistics of people who steal gold in a year and compare to those who steal public funds in the millions, I think the public funds will be more. But we are not angry towards them enough. And I have said time and again that because there is not sufficient deterrence or consequences for wrongdoing, people keep doing. So let me say that the action being taken by the president is very commendable. It's good that we have dedicated or specialized courts that will handle these infractions that the Auditor General brings out each year or from time to time.
And a private legal practitioner, Isaac Danso Ejui, is of the view that due to the powers of the state should be able to marshal resources to prosecute charges against individuals and grounds.
It's important to understand that when one is standing criminal trial, we have the republic. There's a reason why we have republic versus that person, right? It's the whole state apparatus that is coming against this person. And so the law seeks to have a balance, right? And so when we say that, okay, the state is the one, all state apparatus bringing to bear on this one individual or group of people for having, committed a crime against the state has the power, it has the resources, it has the abilities to be able to prove that crime that they are claiming that this person has committed. And that is why, as a matter of legal position, just of balancing the weight between the parties involved, let's say that you say that this person has done this, you have all the resources of the country to follow and prove that this person has indeed done that. It's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of difficulty, but if you lift that entirely off the state, we could see the chaos that will immediately happen.
Still on corruption, a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Joshua Zato, is attributing the level of corruption in the public sector to poor management. He is of the view that the structures of corporate governance have been turned upside down. Take a listen.
What has then happened is that all of a sudden we've tried to use them more for their destiny, hoping and trying to just wish away their debt. That is what has led us here today. Now, you juxtapose that with currently what we have with some of the poor management. I say poor management because it happens to all the regimes. Today, there are CEOs who have been in office for 8 months, without a board of directors. Now, the board is supposed to guide you, direct you, and approve almost all it takes to do. So these men and women are working before the board. So by the time the board comes in, the CEO and his people know everything more than you. Now they are waiting for you to approve things, and before you realize, you're just coming to just approve things. It doesn't help with the corporate governance of SOEs when it's that, because the right thing should have been that a board comes in, then the CEO comes, then the board approves you. We've done that for reasons because it's political and you cannot let somebody sit for that long. So that is one area we have to look at to make sure that we do the appointment right.
And now the director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISA, Professor Robert Darkwa, says the anticipated decline in global commodity prices could pose fiscal challenges for government revenues, but may offer relief to consumers at the fuel pumps. Speaking at the launch of ISA's State of Ghanaian Economy 2024 report, Professor Oseb emphasized that to cushion the economy against potential shocks, value addition must be prioritized in the year ahead.
If it's cocoa prices have been on the up. We haven't seen the returns in terms of output and the value of our cocoa exports significantly improving. If oil were to dip, it will come and bite us on one hand, but we are net importers of oil, right? So on the other hand, we then can get some relief, and if indeed the gains from the world prices are passed on to consumers, that in itself could mean that individual households will have a bit more room to spend. Okay, so it's, again, we are not big players. The challenge is for us to do the value addition.
And more news this afternoon. The Bank of Ghana has issued a stern warning to exporters who fail to repatriate their export proceeds, saying it will not hesitate to apply severe sanctions, including hefty fines and imprisonment, in line with the Foreign Exchange Act.
In a new notice issued on October 30, 2025, the central bank stated that offenders could be fined up to 5,000 penalty units, imprisoned for a term not exceeding 10 years, or face both penalties as prescribed by the Foreign Exchange Act 2006, Act 723. This comes after the bank recently allowed exporters up to 60 calendar days beyond the original validity of their letters of commitment, but only upon submission of a reasonable and well-documented justification. The bank stressed that no further extensions will be granted beyond the first, though exporters may request cancellation of their commitment letters if justified. The central bank reminded exporters that proceeds must be repatriated through their nominated banks within 120 days of shipment. It also directed all authorized dealer banks to ensure strict compliance and communicate the provisions to their clients. The directive forms part of measures to strengthen Ghana's foreign exchange management and instill greater discipline among exporters.
While you're still watching Weekend Sense right here on TV3, we're going for a quick commercial break. We're back with more news. Stay with us.
Volta Economic Forum, Chief Executive Officer of the GRA-SML Bank, Sylvester Mensah, called for investment into the establishment of storage and processing facilities to position the region as a reliable food supply zone.
The region is ideal for commercial farming, aquaculture, and agro-processing. The region is the second leading producer of rice in Ghana. In 2020, the region covered almost 30% of rice planted areas in the country. The Volta region is also a major hub for maize, cassava, and vegetable cultivation in Ghana. Despite being the second producer of rice in Ghana, the region's rice industry continues to face structural challenges that limit productivity and competitiveness.
As part of efforts to revitalize the region's economy, over 50 investment-ready projects have been profiled across the various districts in areas including agro-processing, aquaculture, ecotourism, among others.
The Volta corridor offers strategic pipeline structured around 5 economic pillars that can sustain the government's 24-hour economy agenda. When you come to the Adaklu district, the Central Town, Ho West, Akati North, Akati South, and Ketu North offer cassava, maize, groundnut, and poultry clusters that can support shift-based processing, warehousing, and logistics. And a typical project size in these districts is about 12 to 35 million Ghana cedis.
Volta Regional Minister James Gunu, in his remarks, indicated strongly that commitments made at the forum will translate into jobs and infrastructure for the people of the region.
This forum provides an important platform for strategic collaboration among government, investors, traditional authorities, and development partners. It seeks to convert our regional advantages into bankable opportunities and to promote Volta as a region that is open, stable, and ready for business. Together, we will ensure that commitment made here translate into jobs, infrastructure, and prosperity for our people.
The 2025 Volta Economic Forum is a platform intended to attract investors into the region with key focus on agriculture and ecotourism. The forum is expected to have overreaching impact on the region's socio-economic development. Faisal Abdul Idrisu, TV3 News.
Away from the Volta region, President John Dramani Mahama has directed the immediate termination of all existing contracts between the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, and Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited, SML. This follows the conclusion of an investigation by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, that's the OSP.
The instruction from the presidency, which marks an end to one of the most contentious government contracts in recent memory, was triggered by the findings of the OSP's probe. The directive was issued as a letter from Executive Secretary to the President, Dr. Kalistus Mahama, to the Minister of Finance, Dr. Kasiel Atuforsin. The SML contract, initially signed with the Ghana Revenue Authority GRA and the Ministry of Finance, were intended to provide revenue assurance services, first in the downstream petroleum sector and later expanded to cover upstream petroleum and the mining value chain. The deal attracted fierce public scrutiny and outrage after investigative reports alleged the company had inflated claims of revenue savings and questioned the legitimacy of its expertise. The contract was also criticized for being single-sourced, and some reports suggested the long-term value could reach over $100 million annually. The controversy deepened with the OSP's intervention. The special prosecutor's investigations concluded with a scathing assessment disputing the justifications for the deal and its value for money. The OSP's probe also uncovered allegations that over 1.4 billion cedis had been paid to SML without adequate monitoring or evaluation. The OSP has also publicly implicated the former finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, in connection with the deal.
The OSP will charge the following persons with various corruption and corruption-related offences before the end of November 2025. 1. Kenneth Nanayao Ofori-Atta, former Minister of Finance. 2. Ernest Akori, Chef de Cabinet to Kenneth Nanaya Oforiatta as Minister of Finance. 3. Emmanuel Kofinti, former Commissioner General of Ghana Revenue Authority. 4. Amishadai Owusu-Amwa, former Commissioner General of Ghana Revenue Authority. 5. Isaac Krenzel, former Commissioner of the Customs Division of Ghana Revenue Authority and General Manager of Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. 6. Kwejo Damwa, former Commissioner of the Customs Division of Ghana Revenue Authority and Member of Parliament for Tishiman South constituency. As part of the process, the OSP will seek to recover the financial loss caused to the Republic from the persons listed above. Also, the OSP will recover a total amount of 125 million cedis from SML by way of a disgorgement of unjust enrichment of overpayment by the return of the benefit of this amount it obtained unfairly at the expense of the Republic.
Meanwhile, the Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited (SML) has denied any wrongdoing, insisting that its operations were lawful, transparent, and beneficial to the state. SML, in a statement issued on Friday, October 31, 2025, said it had fully cooperated with all lawful investigations and called for public discussions to be grounded in verified facts rather than speculation. According to the company, its services, including transaction audit, external price verification, and downstream petroleum measurement, were performed under GRA supervision, with payment made only after results were independently verified.
Another Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Professor Rasford Jampo, wants all monies paid to Strategic Mobilization Limited (SML) to be retrieved. The OSP Kisi Jabin at a news conference on Thursday revealed his office will seek to recover some 125 million cedis from SML.
But I have a question. See, in our quest to fight corruption and to tackle some of these things, we must go all out. I read and listened to the OSP saying that about 1.4 billion cedis have been paid the SML. 1.4 billion paid SML. But the OSP is saying it is going for a refund of 125 million. And it baffles my mind. If the work wasn't done, if the contract shouldn't have been entered into, then you, the lawyers, Martin Pebu, you are there. The contract itself is void. If it is void and we paid 1.4 billion, then why are you going to collect 125 million? Okay. Do the math. Subtract 125 million from 1.4 billion. Who benefits from the void contract of SML? And so I think this is something that you may want the OSP people to speak to, because I don't understand. Okay. If we pay them 1.4 billion and contract itself is void.
Have this afternoon, after a decade of abandonment, neglect, and left to rot, the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly has initiated plans to revamp the Datolili bus terminal. Work on the 1.9 million cedi World Bank project, which started in 2015, started in 2017. The project, which has remained dormant for several years, was once envisioned as a major transport link between the Tamale metropolis.
The ultra-modern bus terminal at Datolili, funded under an urban development program, was to decongest Tamale Central Business District. Despite completing phase 1 of the project in 2016, the project was left unused. The facility was equipped with driver restrooms, passenger stands, washrooms, a security post, and other auxiliary infrastructure intended to relocate long-distance buses away from the city center. Several items, including electrical cables, air conditioners, ceiling fans, and even a transformer installed to supply power to the terminal, have been stolen. Some of the structures have also suffered damages that has rendered parts of the structure unusable. Speaking to journalists at the Datolili bus terminal, following interest by an investor to take over the project. Metropolitan Chief Executive of the Tamale Metro Assembly, Abu Takoro, emphasized the need for public-private partnership to utilize the abandoned project.
Men have reached this place, so Assembly have taken it as one of their priority projects that we need to make sure that we revamp this place and make sure that this place is used to the benefit of the people of Tamale. And in doing so, you know, this project, as you see, is a huge project that the central government alone cannot champion this. So as a result of that, we have gone to find out investors who can partner with Tamale Metropolitan Assembly to make sure that they put this place into use so that it will benefit the people of the metropolis.
He expressed optimism that the partnership will help modernize the Datoili bus terminal, improve transportation services, and create jobs for the youth.
This community, if you go around, economic activities, you can't find it around this village. But once this place is put into use, definitely people will come here to do business, like buying and selling. So definitely this place, when it's put into use, a lot of people will come around this place. Especially look at this place. There will be a restaurant. And when there is a restaurant here, definitely people will be employed to work in the restaurant.
Officials of Mulch Company Ghana Limited commended the Assembly for its proactive approach and assured them of their commitment to support the city's infrastructure agenda.
How soon is depending on the technicalities that we are able to put together. We are yet to finish with the technical team at the Metro Assembly. And then once we get all the technical details and we know what has gone on and the parameters that have been covered so far with respect to this development, then we can tell how soon we can come out with it. But as seeing it as a test now, we are excited. We are excited because we see it as a potential growth node for the Tamale and the Savannah region. It's got a potential to be one of the biggest growth nodes that can happen in this country.
Well, if you just tune in, you're watching the Weekend Central here on TV3. In more news this afternoon, the Tishiman South Municipal Assembly has embarked on several developmental projects to bridge the infrastructure deficit in the area. This move comes as schools across Ghana continue to grapple with severe infrastructure challenges.
For years, substandard electrical cables have been a silent menace in homes and businesses linked to devastating fires. But the Ghana Standard Authority has come out with an initiative for consumers to easily verify the quality of cables they are buying. The project forms part of the authority's digital revolution in product authentication.
Whatever product that we are using, there's a standard to it. And once we agree that this is what we are going to use, all of us have to abide by it. And once you are not using the right thing, whether you are bringing it from outside or you are producing it in the country, those products we have to check and make sure if they are not standard, we have to take them off the market, because our mandate is to protect the consumer.
Consumers will be able to scan a code on cable packaging to get an instant verification from the GSA database.
For you, the consumer, to also authenticate that what GSA is claiming to be quality, you are also able to verify. So we introduce the app. So you can able to see that, okay, this product, this is the owner of the product. Even if I have an issue with it, it is traceable. So we want to ensure there is a lot of quality products circulated on the market.
GSA says the intervention will not only protect the consumer, but also create a level playing field for local manufacturers who follow the rules. At a sensitization training to introduce the Ghana Digital Conformity app to electrical contractors, the electricians lauded the initiative, saying it will ensure the materials they use are safe and reliable.
First, the adjoin no maybe near this soon, no maybe. But see about me who say, Title electrical cables na about Omay no had you from an on a banner the year, Baby, moi, Omay and your papa. The be a Jashiba. me de jahye ne kura no de to so mi ni di kan pa de baya ne ham ne say e ma bebre tua light bay akese ba sa system mo ba mi ehu electrical cables papa ewu ma esese wo electrician a wo de yi adwuma
standard board abibie ni papa ti se me say aboa me se me call market se me koto cable a ti se manya ade a metimi di atese ma me ehu say cable na me use no eya na se enye.
The goal is to empower the consumer with immediate information and take substandard cables off the market.
Well, the story that just went by is in relation to the activities of Ghana Standards Authority and to combat the proliferation of substandard electrical goods in the market. The Ghana Standards Authority is piloting a mobile application that allows consumers to instantly verify the quality of electrical cables before purchase. And the initiative, dubbed the Ghana Digital Conformity Pilot Project, is to increase market surveillance and consumer protection. So let's take you back to the Tishiman South area where some sort of educational projects are ongoing.
Ghana's educational sector is plagued by infrastructural deficits, forcing thousands of pupils to learn in substandard and harsh conditions. Across the country, over 5,400 basic schools still operate under trees or in crumbling structures. A report by the African Education Watch indicates that despite the Ghana School Infrastructure Program launched in 2021 to construct new classrooms by 2025, only 17 schools have seen completion. The Fianso MA cluster of schools, Primary C, in the Tishiman South municipality is one of the many rural schools experiencing these challenges. The poor state of facilities has been linked to reduced learning outcomes, low student motivation, and reluctance from teachers to work in the area.
How the school is, the children sitting under trees is not helping at all. Sometimes when it's raining, that means lessons have to stop. Then all will run inside the other classroom before the rain will stop, then lesson will continue.
Beyond the classroom, the school faces a critical sanitation issue. Hannah Yeboah, the headmistress for Fianso Primary C, expressed deep concern over the absence of toilet facilities, which forces pupils into open defecation.
If you look at this, our big school, there's no toilet facility in this school. Sometimes you see the children outside using themselves without even caring about who is passing, and you will see that our kitchen too is just nearby, and you will see children releasing themselves at the other side and they are cooking at the other side.
To address these pressing issues, the mayor for Tishiman South has initiated the construction of a modern 6-unit classroom block with auxiliary facilities for the Fianso MA cluster of schools, Primary C, to significantly improve the school's infrastructure. This initiative has been well received by teachers.
Speaking
to the media after the inspection, the mayor, Ajay Mensah, issued a stern warning to contractors, noting that any contractor found executing shoddy work would face severe consequences without fear of favor.
Under my watch, a contractor, you have to perform to the standard that everybody will be happy with. I am not going to entertain any shoddy work under my administration.
Well, that's all time will permit us this very afternoon. For more news updates, just log on to our website at 3news.com. Alternatively, you can join my colleagues Cosby and Aisha Yakubo News 360. In a world where you can be anything, just be kind. It costs nothing to be kind. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.